Hi everyone, Lori Whitlock here. Welcome to the YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to do something kind of different and fun. I'm going to show you how to locate the Doodlebug SVG files in my shop. We're going to download one. We're going to take it into Cricut Design Space and into Silhouette Studio. I'm going to show you how to offset the path and create a darling folded 3D card out of one of their cute little graphics. We're using this darling little ladybug. I'm going to show you how to put it together as well at the end of the video. First of all, though, we're going to go into the software and I'm going to show you exactly how to locate it and bring it into the software, and then we'll come back and assemble it here at the table. Now that we're at the computer, you're going to enter shop.loriwhitlock.com in the URL bar, and that is going to bring us to the Lori Whitlock SVG shop. Once we're at the Lori Whitlock shop, you're going to see that we have lots of adorable 3D projects and quite a few different brands in the shop. But today we're going to be looking at the Doodlebug files. So you can sort those right here under brands, or you can also arrow down on this designer section and arrow down on, well, click on Doodlebug, and that's going to bring up all of their different collections that we carry. So you can see a little thumbnail for each one of those. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Fairy Garden one. So let's go up to Fairy Garden and we'll click on that. And you can see this adorable collection that we have just recently released is all here. So these are SVG files with cut lines so that you can create 3D layered cut projects. And today we're going to be working with this darling Ladybug set. So if you wanted to purchase this, you would just go to Add to Cart and you would set up your account, and then you would be able to download it immediately. And once you have an account, you can access that file anytime you would like. So you would just add to cart. Oh, you do have to choose a license, and if you're just making this for personal use, you can just choose that included with file. But if you'd like to make these cards or anything to sell, you would need to purchase the commercial license for the appropriate amount of cards you would like to make using this file. So up to 50, up to 200, or up to 400. But today we'll just choose the personal license. Keeps the price here at $1.49. We'll hit add to cart, and then you would go ahead and proceed to checkout. When you do that, it's going to ask you to sign into your account or create a new account, and you can just go through the checkout process. Once you do that, I'm going to go over to my downloads folder. You can see that I've gone ahead and downloaded that, and it's going to download as a zip file. So you'll need to unzip that file to access the files inside of that folder. I'm on a Mac today, so I'm just going to double click that. My computer is going to automatically unzip that, and you can see that it changed from a zipped folder to a folder that I can actually open. Inside of that folder, I'm going to see a JPEG, so I can see that little thumbnail that was in the shop. And then there's also an SVG file that you can open in the Silhouette Studio Designer Edition or above, and also in Cricut Design Space. And then there's also a terms of use inside of that folder just for your reference. So let's start with Cricut Design Space. We'll go over to Design Space. We'll go ahead and hit Upload. We're going to choose Upload Image. We're going to choose Browse. And then I'm going to go to my Downloads folder and choose the Fairy Garden Ladybugs and choose the SVG file. Now, just be aware that on some PCs, this SVG file might look like an HTML or a Chrome or whatever browser you may have downloaded the file from. It doesn't know what program to associate an SVG file with, and so it might make it look like an internet file. That's okay. It is truly indeed the SVG file, so go ahead and click open, and it will open just like this. And then when we hit upload, it's going to bring it into our recent uploads, and we still need to select it again and click insert image. And that's going to bring these two cute little bugs up on our canvas so we can start working with them. The first thing you're going to do is go ahead and ungroup those pieces, and we're going to take that little ladybug and go ahead and delete that one. The larger ladybug, we're going to go ahead and flip it so that it's facing the other direction. And let's resize it to make it a little bit larger to fit in an A2 envelope. I'm going to do that using the height and width here, and I'm going to make sure that that little lock is locked so that it sizes proportionally. We're going to take the height to 4 inches. And when we add our offset to it, it's going to be 4 1/4 tall, which will fit into an A2 envelope. So then let's go ahead and we want to isolate this back layer here. So let's move the pieces apart. All of these pieces are completely ready to go. This piece we need to do a little bit of work on. Cricut has recently released a feature called Offset up here at the top. We're going to go ahead and click that feature and go ahead and type in 0.125 and click Apply. That's going to give us our offset that we need to create our card base. So now this pink piece will just move off to the side. It's ready to cut. And this black piece we will actually be cutting out of white, but I'll color it gray so that you can see it a little bit better on this video. So I'm going to take that piece and I want to duplicate it. I'm going to need this piece as part of my card. So let's move that off to the side. And now we're going to use this piece and we're going to duplicate it again. We're going to move it off to the left-hand side and we need to flip it horizontally so that this little bug is back to back. And let's take both of those pieces and we need to make sure that they are aligned to the bottom so that, or centered, it doesn't matter, we just need them to be perfectly aligned. And then we want to make sure they're overlapping just enough here to create a card. So I'm just going to move them a little closer together using my arrow keys, and I'm going to select both of those and we're going to go to the bottom of the layers palette and use this button that says Weld. Once we've welded them together, this is all one piece, and now we just need to add a score line to the middle. So let's go to Shapes here on the left, choose Score Line. It's going to give us a score line to work with, and we can move that where we want it. I can't get it perfectly in the middle without some assistance, so I'm going to go ahead and select both of those pieces, choose Align, and we're going to align it horizontally. And I don't want it to cut or score too close to either edge, so I'm just going to move that up with my my keyboard, just one click, so that it's a little more centered. So now that I have that score line in place, if I want it to stay in place when I click Make It, I need to select that score line and the card base and attach them to each other. So now we have a card base that will fold here, and we have a piece to layer on top, and you'll see this a little bit better when we go to make the card, but it will complete the back end of the bug when the card is folded. At this point, we are ready to click Make It. And the software will go ahead and sort out all of our cutting mats for us. And it looks like everything is there. If you want to combine some of those colors, let's hit Cancel. And let me show you how to use this color sync. You can click that and you can go ahead and drag and drop layers on top of each other if you want to minimize the colors that you are trying to cut. And we can combine those. So now we're just cutting 4 different colors. We'll go ahead and click Make It again, and you can see that that has simplified our pinks into 2 different mats instead of 4. So at this point, you just go ahead and click Continue and let your machine do the work. It will prompt you to load the scoring wheel or the scoring stylus and then load the blade, and you'll be able to score and then cut. And the rest of these are just basic cuts. So that completes the process for preparing this file and creating this adorable folded card out of a Doodlebug file in Cricut Design Space. So now we're going to move over to Silhouette Studio, and I will show you the process in Silhouette Studio. And I think that this is a great exercise for all of you to take a look at both of the different software and how they function so that you can understand, if you're looking at different machines, how they function and how the software works. So now we're going to do the same process in Silhouette Studio. Let's go to File and down to Open, and then you're going to go to the Downloads folder again and locate the SVG file inside of Fairy Garden. Now remember, you do need the Designer Edition to open SVG files. If you don't have the Designer Edition, you will not be able to open SVG files. If you're needing to purchase that, you can pick that up at shop.lorywhitlock.com, and on the left-hand side there's a category called Silhouette Necessities, and you can find that there. But go ahead and click OK, and that brings this adorable artwork up on our screen. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can take a little closer look at that. We will not be needing the little bug on the left, so I'm going to go ahead and click delete on my keyboard and remove that. And the bug on the right, we want to go ahead and flip it the other direction. So I'm just going to go ahead and mirror it to the right and delete the one on the left and move all of this over so we can see it. We need to size this. So I'm going to group it together to size it. And you'll notice that that gives us our height and width here. Go ahead and click the lock. Make sure that it's going to keep the proportions and type in 4. So that's a 4-inch high. As soon as we add our offset, it's going to be 4 1/4, which will fit in an A2 envelope. So let's go ahead and zoom out just a little bit. And I'm going to ungroup those pieces again. And I'm going to pull this back piece off. This is the piece we're going to be working with. All of the rest of these pieces we don't really need to do anything with, so I'm just going to move them off to the side. But this piece is going to be important. First of all, let's go ahead and offset the path on this. So we'll go down to our offset path tool, which looks like a star on the right-hand side, and then click offset, and then 0.125 is exactly what we want. That should be the default. We'll go ahead and click apply. So now we're done with this pink layer, and it's very faint, so I'm going to go ahead and colorize this for you so you can see it. A light gray, maybe a little bit darker so you can see it better. So we have our card backing piece, so we do want to duplicate this. So let's just hit Command C, Command V, or Control C, Control V, or you can right click and copy and paste. But just we want to save one of those so that we can use it as a layer. I'll go ahead and send it back so you can see it's going to be the layer that goes right behind this pink piece. And I am going to cut these gray pieces out of white. I just colorized them so you can see them on my screen. So now we need to go to our replicate window on the far right hand side. It looks like a little flower type thing. And we're going to mirror it to the left. And we're going to have this little bug back to back. And we're going to use the arrow key and just use the right hand arrow and scoot those closer together until those legs overlap just a little bit. And then we're going to select both pieces and we want to weld them together. You can do that with a right click, or you can use the weld button here in the quick access toolbar at the top. So now that we have those welded together, we need to add a score line. So let's just go to the left hand side and grab that line tool, and we'll just draw a line. And I don't want it to run through the top or the bottom, so I'm going to scoot it down just a little bit. And since I'm not sure if it's totally in the middle, I'm going to grab all those pieces and just align to the center. Perfect. It moved just a little bit. I don't want it to cut a solid line, so I need to select that line and change it to a dashed line. Now I can select the card base and the line, and we're going to group them together. And that is this button right here, or you can click right click and group. Now we have all the pieces that we need to cut this card out. So we're going to zoom out, and I'm just going to go ahead and gather all of the colors near each other. And we can cut all of these pieces in 1 or 2 passes, just depending on how creative you want to get with fitting them all on your mat at one time. So we could gather all of the darker pink pieces over here and all of the lighter pink pieces down here. And you would just have to plan for how much paper you need, and you could draw a box to help you figure that out. We need to move this one over just a little. It's too close to the edge. But you could put a piece of white. In fact, I might pull this off, or try not to cut quite this many pieces at a time, because you'd want to cut squares. So you'd probably need like a 3.5 inch square down in here and a 3-inch square of black up here. And the white, you would want a piece that's like this, and it might run into the pink. So I might move those pink ones off and cut those on a second pass. Okay, so if that makes sense, when you go to send, you can see that you would have a black piece here, and I wouldn't cut that square. That would just be representing the paper, and then a white piece and a pink piece. And you could just kind of cluster those, and then you could cut all of these colors in one single pass. Then you'd want to take all of these pieces off of your mat and then bring on those pink pieces and cut those. I'm going to back up just a little bit. But you can see how many possibilities there are. There's these darling dragonflies and rainbow and hedgehogs, and oh, Doodlebug just has the cutest little graphics, and they would make adorable cards just like this. This will give you lots of opportunity to use these cute cut files. And just so you know, you can buy each of their collections all in one download. Um, and yeah, I do see that they are fairly pricey, but they do go on sale. So keep an eye out for sales at shop.lorywhitlock.com. You can join our email list so that you can get notifications when we have sales in the shop. And at our homepage, just so you know, you can always download a free file with purchase. So if you want to purchase the cute little ladybug, you can also download a free file with a $1.99 purchase. So you might have to grab a couple Doodlebug files to get to that price point, but you can then get this cute 3D card that's available this week. And we also always have a kit of the month that's available as well. If you'll spend $20 in one transaction and load this file into your cart along with the coupon code March21 KOTM, you'll receive this kit free with your purchase. Okay, let's get busy putting our cute card together. After you've cut out all of your pieces for your cute little card that we designed, we are going to take our pieces and put them together. This is what it should look like. You've got your face, and I've just gone ahead and layered the black circle behind that so that those black eyes and mouth show through. I've also gone ahead and taken that card base, and we're just going to fold that right in half. And you can see how it kind of cuts off here at the back end. So we've got a white layer to layer on top of that, and it will continue that shape on past that fold line. So that is going to be our card base. So let's go ahead and glue that white piece down to our folded card base. To do that, I'm going to take some tape runner and just apply it to the front of our card. We'll just take that card, and we want to line it up exactly in position with those little feet and the antenna at the top there. Once you have it lined up just the way you want it, you can just go ahead and press everything down. And then we're going to take our pink layer, which is offset just a little bit. We've got about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So we're just going to take that and flip it over and go ahead and put some adhesive on the back of that. Okay, so we'll go ahead and center that in the space here. And now we have our back little piece right in here, and it just lines right up with the pink piece. So we just need some adhesive on the back of that, and we'll put it in position. And if you need to use a little liquid adhesive in those tight little corners, I would recommend doing that, just so everything sticks down nice and neatly. I love the little needle nose glue bottle. It's great for tiny little spaces that you need to glue. This actually goes down and over the legs just a tiny bit. Okay. So now with our face and our antenna, we can just use a little pop dot for those. If you want to. You do not have to, but it looks really cute to give this a little bit of dimension. If you don't want it to stick up too far, just make sure that you use a little thinner foam dot. And you want to line that up just right where his face is straight and he overlaps just like he should all the way around. I need to pull that down just a little bit. Okay, darling. If you'll notice, I've used just a little bit of inking around the edges of that face to make it stand out just a little bit. That's definitely optional, but can add some nice dimension as well in texture. We'll go ahead and place these two little antenna dots on. Again, those are using a little foam tape to give them some dimension. And now we're missing the cheeks. You'll notice one of them is cut with a straight side, and that goes over here on this side of our card, and the other one goes over here. And I'm just going to use a little adhesive for that. And if you ever need to reference the original image inside of the file, you'll notice that everything is left layered so that you can see exactly where it's supposed to be positioned. So you can always go back and reference the original file for placement. So cute, isn't he darling? Okay, now we just can embellish it a little bit with some enamel dots if you want to, but of course you don't have to add anything else. You could also use a darling Doodlebug pattern here if you wanted to on this pink pattern piece here. Would be cute if it was patterned. But since I've used plain colored cardstock, we'll just go ahead and put some enamel dots on there. Give it some little ladybug dots on its back. So there we are. Our card is complete. You can open it up and write a sentiment. It will easily fit into a A2 envelope. So I hope you enjoy learning a little bit more about how you can utilize the Doodlebug SVG files in my shop and how you can make adorable 3D shaped cards out of their adorable graphics. Hope you have a great day, and feel free to visit us here on YouTube at any time and also at shop.lorywhitlock.com. Bye-bye, and we'll see you in another video.